जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace Abhay Charanar Vind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON BBD Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind Ki Jai Janitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Today morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 42, The Breaking of the Bow, text number 15 onwards till 38th verse. So we are taking the 38th verse which is written on the board. I will recite this verse and after that we will cover all the translations from 15th onward till 38th verse. And 38th verse has a purport. Nanda Gopadayo Gopa Bhojaraja Samahuta Niveditopayanas Ta Ekasmin Mancha Avishan Nanda Gopadayo Gopa Bhojaraja Samahuta Niveditopayanasta Ekasmin Mancha Avishan Nanda Gopadayo Gopa Bhojaraja Samahuta Niveditopayanasta Ekasmin Mancha Avishan Nanda Gopadayo Gopa Bhojaraja Samahuta Niveditopayanasta Ekasmin Mancha Avishan. Mataji's word to word meaning. Nanda Gopadaya headed by Nanda Gopa. Gopaha, the cowherds. Bhojaraja, by Kamsa, king of the Bhojas. Samahutaha, called forward. Nivedita, presenting. Upayana, their offerings. Te, they. Ekasmin, in one. Manche, weaving gallery. Avishan, sat down. Translations and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So first we will take the translation starting from verse 15 and eventually we'll come to this verse. Text number 15. Lord Krishna then asked the local people where the arena was in which the bow sacrifice would take place. When he went there, he saw the amazing bow which resembled Lord Indra's. That most opulent bow was guarded by a large company of men who were respectfully worshipping it. Krishna pushed his way forward, and despite the guards' attempts to stop him, he picked it up. Easily lifting the bow with his left hand, Lord Urukrama strung it in a fraction of a second as the king's guards looked on. He then powerfully pulled the string and snapped the bow in half, just as an excited elephant might break a stalk of sugarcane. The sound of the bow's breaking filled the earth and sky in all directions. Upon hearing it, Kamsa was struck with terror. The enraged guards then took up their weapons and, wanting to seize Krishna and his companions, surrounded them and shouted, "Grab him, kill him." Seeing the guards coming upon them with evil intent, Balaram and Keshav took up the two halves of the bow and began striking them down. After also killing a contingent of soldiers sent by Kamsa, Krishna and Balaram left the sacrificial arena by its main gate and continued their walk about the city, happily looking at the opulent sights. Having witnessed the amazing deed Krishna and Balaram had performed, and seeing their strength, boldness, and beauty, the people of the city thought they must be two prominent demigods. As they strolled about at will, the sun began to set. So they left the city with the cowherd boys and returned to the cowherds' wagon encampment. At the time of Mukunda's, Krishna's departure from Vrindavan, the gopis had foretold that the residents of Mathura would enjoy many benedictions. And now the gopis' prediction were coming true, for those residents were gazing upon the beauty of Krishna, the jewel among men. Indeed, the goddess of fortune desired the shelter of that beauty so much that she abandoned many other men, although they worshipped her. After Krishna's and Balaram's feet were bathed, the two lords ate rice with milk. Then, although knowing what Kamsa intended to do, they spent the night there comfortably. Wicked King Kamsa, on the other hand, was terrified. Having heard how Krishna and Balaram had broken the bow and killed his guards and soldiers, all simply as a game, he remained awake for a long time, and both while awake and while dreaming, he saw many bad omens, messengers of death. When he looked at his reflection, he could not see his head. For no reason, the moon and stars appeared double. He saw a hole in his shadow. He could not hear the sound of his life air. Trees seemed covered with a golden hue, and he could not see his footprints. He dreamt that he was being embraced by ghosts, riding a donkey and drinking poison, and also that a naked man smeared with oil was passing by wearing a garland of Nalada flowers. Seeing this and other such omens, both while dreaming and while awake, Kamsa was terrified by the prospect of death, and out of anxiety he could not sleep. When the night had finally passed and the sun rose up again from the water, Kamsa set about arranging for the grand wrestling festival. The king's men performed the ritual worship of the wrestling arena, sounded their drums and other instruments, and decorated the weaving galleries with garlands, flags, ribbons, and arches. The city dwellers and residents of the outlying districts, led by Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, came and sat down comfortably in the galleries. The royal guest received special seats. Surrounded by his ministers, Kamsa took his seat on the imperial dais. But even as he sat amidst his various provincial rulers, his heart trembled. While the musical instruments loudly played in the rhythmic meters appropriate for wrestling matches, the lavishly ornamented wrestlers proudly entered the arena with their coaches and sat down. Enthused by the pleasing music, Chanura, Mushtika, Kuta, Shala, and Toshala sat down on the wrestling mat. This is the shloka which we recited today, 38th translation. Nanda Maharaj, Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherds, summoned by the king of the Bhojas, presented him with their offerings and then took their seats in one of the galleries. Purport. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, the word Samahutaha indicates that King Kamsa respectfully called the leaders of Vraja forward so that they could make their offerings to the central government. According to the Acharya, Kamsa assured Nanda as follows: My dear king of Vraja, you are the most important of my village rulers. Yet even though you have come to Mathura from your cowherd village, you have not come to visit me. Is that because you are frightened? Don't think that your two sons are bad because they broke the bow. I invited them here because I heard they were extremely powerful, and I have arranged this wrestling match as a test of their strength. So please come forward without hesitation. Don't be afraid. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti further states that Nanda Maharaj noticed his two sons were not present. Apparently, out of disrespect for King Kamsa's order, they had taken the morning off and gone elsewhere. Shri Radha Ras Bihari ki jai. Thus Kamsa delegated some cowherd men to go look for them and advise them to behave properly and come back to the wrestling arena. The Acharya also states that the reason Nanda and other cowherd men sat in the galleries was that they could not find any sitting places on the royal dais. Thus end the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 10th canto, 42nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Breaking of the Sacrificial Bow. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome all the devotees, well-wishers and guests for today's morning Bhagavatam class here at Shri Radha Ras Bihari Mandir. And I am seeking blessings from all devotees assembled here to speak something from these beautiful verses of Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. It was out of the order of His Holiness Anant Krishna Goswami Maharaj that I am sitting here. So Maharaj, aapka Ashirwad. Hare Krishna. So this is the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada calls it Samam Bonam. His Holiness Bhakti Ashraya Vaishnava Maharaj was speaking in his class once that in the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, 12 cantos, there are 335 chapters. And of that, 90 chapters are in 10th canto. So even though the number wise of the 12 cantos, we should be like 6 cantos should be the halfway through. But based on the volume of the 10th canto, our Acharya has mentioned that Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto is halfway through. And in 10th canto, this chapter is halfway through. Because we are in the 42nd chapter, almost halfway through. Krishna has proceeded in his pastimes from Vrindavan to Mathura. Of course, Krishna does not leave Vrindavan, but still Krishna has left Vrindavan. It's Achintya Bheda with Tattva. So Krishna is in Mathura, and it's like a village boy coming to a city. So there is a lot of excitement. For Krishna there is no excitement. But for Krishna's cowherd friends there is a lot of excitement because they are coming to the city for the first time. So Krishna is taking them on a stroll. Chalo ghumane leke jaate hai. So this all pastimes is Krishna is enjoying pastimes. In that enjoying pastimes, Krishna is killing, delivering and also enjoying the fun. This is Krishna. So here we find through these verses, series of verses from 15th verse till the last verse, 38th of this chapter, we find many exciting things are happening. This verse series has begun after Krishna has pacified or delivered or reciprocated with Kubja. That's a very wonderful story in itself, wonderful pastime. That right at the behest of Kamsa's palace, Kubja was carrying chandan, sandalwood for Kamsa, and she did not fear to offer that chandan to Krishna. So here is Kubja serving Kamsa, but out of no fear offering chandan to Krishna. And the same Kamsa is now going to be fearful. As we see in this whole verses, Kamsa is terrified. So after Krishna delivers or reciprocates with Kubja's devotion, now Krishna is moving ahead. And in the series of these verses, we find Krishna is first looking for the Dhanur Yagya assembly, the arena. Quite interesting. This verse is also very beautiful. Nanda Gopa Dayo Gopa. When I first read this verse, was preparing for this class, I remembered this verse somehow connected, similar like a beautiful verse which comes in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Kunti Maharani is also praying her prayers and she is mentioning Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So very beautiful verse. Nanda Gopa Dayo Gopa Bhojaraja Samahuta. So this, what is Dhanur Yagya? Quite interesting. Prabhupada says in his Krishna book, Kamsa was an expert demon. What does he say? He mentions that in Krishna book. That Narad Muni, understanding that Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes have to now come to completion, so that Krishna can move on to Mathura, Narada Muni goes to Krishna and tells Krishna, it's time now. Please kindly wrap up your pastimes in Vrindavan. Let's now go to Mathura, because you have to continue. You have to fulfill the purpose for which you have come. So now Krishna gets ready. Meanwhile, Narad Muni goes to Kamsa and tell Kamsa everything, all the different intricacies, the secrets that do you know? This Vasudeva and Devaki, their 8 sons, you thought there was a 8 daughter? No, there was a son. And Vasudeva did not tell you, but in the dead of the night, he transferred the son to the house of Nanda and Yashoda and got their baby girl here. And Kamsa was, is it? I didn't know that. Kamsa was excited. Kamsa was terrified also. And Narad Muni said, so now you do whatever you want to do, but I think so you are sending so many demons to Vrindavan without return ticket. They go and they don't come back. So why don't you bring him here? Will not that be a good thing? Your own area, you bring him, you have a lot of advantage. And Kamsa says, Narad Muni, you are my very great well-wisher. Thank you for informing me. And immediately now Kamsa starts acting on a drama. See, Kamsa has to now pacify his peers, not show to other. And Kamsa also has to manage bringing Krishna Balaram. So what a beautiful whole diplomatic tactic arranged by Kamsa. First of all, Kamsa put Vasudeva and Devaki in the prison again and shackled them with iron chains. Well, Vasudeva and Devaki were prisoned, but it was a house imprisonment. But it wasn't in the prison, actual prison. But at this time, they were prisoned. And immediately, Kamsa thought, I need a reason to call Krishna and Balaram. And the reason could be a wrestling match. Let me invite Nanda Maharaj and his friends from Vrindavan and also invite Krishna Balaram. So then there will be a wrestling match. And Prabhupada says in the Krishna book that wrestling match was popular even in that time. Prabhupada said in North India today also wrestling match is very popular. कुश्ती खेलना बड़ा फेमस है आज भी उत्तर भारत में. So on the pretext of wrestling match, the Rangashala was decorated, arranged. There was a Rangashala, was like a stadium where all the spectators will sit and there will be a lot of events, and one of the most important event awaited was the wrestling match. So Kamsa arranged for a wrestling match. Kamsa also was thinking, now Krishna and Balaram are going to come. So I have to gear up. I have to become very much prayerful, take blessings. So therefore, to please Kala Bhairav, whom he used to worship, whom he used to worship, it is said Kamsa arranged for Dhanur Yagya. So in the Garga Samhita it is mentioned, while Kamsa was going on Digvijay Yatra, conquering and capturing many kingdoms and making great demons under his captivity, he also, while going in that Digvijay Yatra, came across a big huge mountain where Parshuram was performing meditation. And Kamsa understood that I cannot defeat Parshuram, he is very powerful. So he happened to please Parshuram, and Parshuram became very pleased with Kamsa and gave him Indra's bow and said, you keep this bow with you, it is very auspicious for you. But the day someone comes and breaks the bow, that day you will be also broken. You will also go away, you will also be killed. So Kamsa with great delight took the bow from Parshuram and came and got it to Mathura. This was the Dhanur Yagya. So Kamsa was seeking blessings and protection from Kala Bhairav, and he was also seeking protection from Dhanur Yagya. So this whole arena was there where Dhanur Yagya was kept under tight security, and a huge Yagya was performed. It is said there's like a 14-day Yagya was going to be performed. On Chaturdashi was the last day. So while all things were happening, the Dhanur Yagya, the wrestling arena, Vasudeva and Devaki were put in the prison. Kamsa was thinking, whom should I send to Vrindavan to bring Krishna and Balaram? I should send someone who is their man also and my man also. And immediately thought of Akrura. Akrura was staying in Kamsa's kingdom because that was what Krishna had planned for. So Akrura stayed there and he had won the heart of Kamsa. So Kamsa called Akrura and said, well, you have to go to Vrindavan and convince Krishna and Balaram that they should come here for this Rangashala wrestling match, see around Mathura, enjoy Mathura seats, because tell him, his uncle is calling him, Mama is calling him for a stroll. So Akrura knew very well that Kamsa is calling Krishna and Balaram not for a stroll or a picnic, but for a purpose. But Akrura also knew that this is the right time, I should call Krishna and Balaram and the Kamsa's tyranny will end. So Prabhupada says this was how expert diplomatic person Kamsa was. His main intent was to kill Krishna and Balaram, but for that the Dhanur Yagya, the wrestling arena, sending Akrura with some gifts, calling them, all that plan was Kamsa wanted to bring Krishna and Balaram and defeat them in Mathura. So here in Dhanur Yagya, in this series of verses we can see Krishna enters Dhanur Yagya, and even though there is tight security, young boys, 7-8-year-old boy, Krishna and Balaram, they enter that tight security, and the whole security guards are aghast. Krishna picks up the bow, and like a small child, he finds something interesting, picks up that, and then he finds that there is no string, so he starts stringing it, and it breaks. So quite interesting, Krishna can do that. So this whole Dhanu Yagya is done, and then by breaking of the bow, Kamsa gets terrified. He could hear the sound within his palace, the huge breaking of the bow. He sends a great, big army to defeat that person who has broken the bow. Krishna kills everyone. Krishna and Balaram take each one half of the bow and destroy the whole army of Kamsa. Then Krishna and Balaram, just imagine such a big ruckus. Krishna defeated all the army soldiers of Kamsa. Krishna has broken the bow of Kamsa. So Krishna should be more alert, right? More alarmed. But after this, Krishna comes out of the Yagyashala from the main gate. Not even a side gate also. Let me just go away to some other place. From the main gate he comes and is walking in the street as if nothing has happened. Krishna is enjoying. It is mentioned here, Swairam Vicharate. At his own will, Krishna is Vicharate. Moving around Mathura, showing all his coward friends, see this, see that, excitement is there. As if nothing happened. Meanwhile, Kamsa, it is mentioned, Kamsa Trasam. Kamsa is fearful. Kamsa is now understanding something big is going to happen. He is, it is said that Kamsa's fear has come true. And after going through the streets of Mathura, then suddenly the sun sets. And Krishna and Balaram return to that camp, that area near Yamuna, where Nanda Maharaj and all covered men had put their camp for the next day wrestling arena. So Krishna and Balaram come there, and Bhagavad mentions that they ate simple milk and rice, right? Doodh or bhat, they eat. And then Krishna and Balaram, Sukham Ratrim, they are sleeping very peacefully. The next day is wrestling arena, and today they already have defeated and killed so many people of Kamsa, and they are in Kamsa's kingdom, and Sukham Ratrim. And Kamsa's Ratri is also mentioned here, Dukham Ratrim. He is not able to sleep. He is seeing omens, bad omens, not just while asleep, but even while awake he is seeing bad omens. And he could not sleep the whole night. Kamsa is terrified. So Bhagavatam also, we see how Shukadeva Goswami is narrating to Parikshit Maharaj, beautifully how woven the verses are, where Krishna's whole mindset is captured by Shukadeva Goswami. At the same time, Shukadeva Goswami is also capturing the mindset of Kamsa. So this is the brilliance of Bhagavatam. That Shukdev Goswami is absorbed in Bhagavatam. He can even read the mind of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And empowered by Krishna is even reading the mind of Kamsa. So it is said that now, after Krishna has gone to take rest along with Balaram, Balabhadra, and the next day they wake up and there is a big pompous celebration, great musical recitation. The sacrificial, the wrestling arena is ready. Kamsa has come and sat on the dais. The whole stadium is packed up. Chanura, Mushtika, Kut, Shala, Toshala, they all have come. Everyone has come except Krishna and Balaram. And they are taking their full time going around Mathura and they will come aram se, no problem. So this is Ranga Bhumi, Ranga Shala. So we are now, like for example, we are concluded at 38th verse, but from the next chapter onwards, there's a beautiful fight, a duel fight between Kuvalya Pida, the elephant, and Lord Krishna. And then Lord Krishna will enter the wrestling arena with blood dripping tusk of Kuvalya Pida. And that's how they enter, the way heroes enter, unique way of entering. And that beautiful verse, which is a very famous verse, Mallanam Ashni Nidam Naravara, that will come. That how when Krishna enters the wrestling arena, everyone is watching Krishna with different perception. Mallanam Ashni. The Mallas, the wrestlers, they see Krishna and Balaram as lightning about to strike them. Nidam Naravara. Common people who are there in the arena, who are spectators, Nidam Naravara. Oh, the best among heroes have come. And Gopanam Swajano. All the Gopas who are sitting in the arena, they are considering, apna hi aadmi aa raha hai. It's our person. They're happy. Swajano. And Mrityu Bhojapate. For Kamsa, it is death personified walking in. And Swapitro Shishu. And the parents of Krishna, here it is mentioned Vasudev and Devaki. Swapitro Shishu. They are watching for the first time in their life. They are seeing their children, Krishna and Balaram, walking in. First sight. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions when Devaki saw Krishna and Balaram for the very first time. She saw Krishna when she didn't see Balaram at all because he was transferred. She had seen Krishna as a small child, baby child, that's it. And now Krishna and Balaram are walking in. Seeing Krishna, Devaki shed tears. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions, from one eye she was shedding hot tears, from one eye she was shedding cold tears. Cold tears because she was so ecstatic, happy to see her own son coming now. Very happy to see. Hot tears because she knows what's awaiting her son. Son has to come and fight with these wrestlers. They are so powerful. My son, 7-year-old child, is going to fight with these mighty wrestlers. So the motherly compassion. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions that this is ecstasy. Only in ecstasy, a devotee can shed hot and cold tears together. That's Devaki. And the wrestling arena is buzzing with excitement. Everyone is sitting there waiting for the match to start. Chanur, Mushtik, they're also excited. Krishna and Balaram were told now can fight. So things will go on. But one exciting thing is, I was mentioning this verse from the Bhagavatam, the next chapter, how everyone saw Krishna differently. So the coward friends of Krishna were thinking, what's new now? Every day we do wrestling. रोज कुश्ती खेलते हैं, आज भी कुश्ती खेलने वाले हैं. हाँ? बस today instead of Krishna and Balaram are playing with some wrestlers. So Shridama is excited, Sudama is excited, everyone is excited. And it is said that Kamsa is watching this whole fun. Now, in this next chapter, we'll see that Kamsa will be killed. So we are coming to a point where Kamsa's last chapter is coming, where Kamsa is going to die. That person who created a big ruckus so that ultimately Krishna had to come, that person, Kamsa's end is going to come. And when Krishna kills Kamsa, I was hearing Dinabandhu Prabhu mentioning a beautiful story in Vrindavan Dham. He was mentioning this pastime that when Krishna actually killed Kamsa, he saw that no one was cheering him, even though he killed Kamsa. Generally, if someone is victorious, the whole stadium, people, spectators should cheer, right? But he saw no one was cheering him. Then Krishna could understand. They were all so fearful of Kamsa, they were in doubt. Has he died or not? So they were worrying. And that's why Krishna took the body of Kamsa and dragged around the whole stadium on the periphery. So while Kamsa was being dragged by Krishna, everyone was watching. Oh, Kamsa is. Then they would say, Krishna Bhagwan ki jai, like that. So they were confirmed that Kamsa has now died. Then only they actually came out and started chanting Krishna's holy names. So Krishna took the whole body, this body of Kamsa, dragged it along the whole periphery of the stadium. When Krishna came with the body of Kamsa, everyone, one part of the body, Jai Shri Radha Rasbihari ki jai. One part where Krishna bought the body of Kamsa, the cowherd friends of Krishna from Vrindavan were sitting there. So they also were watching and they were clapping. But Sridhama did not clap. Dini Bandipur mentions why Sridhama did not clap. Sridhama was thinking, what's so great? Every day I defeat Krishna in the wrestling match. Today he has defeated Kamsa. That means I could have also defeated Kamsa. So he did not clap. So this is how the Gopas were reciprocating with Krishna. In the Mathura Mahatmya, there is a description given that how Krishna dragged the body of Kamsa from the Ranga Bhumi, Ranga Shala to the banks of Yamuna river. And that place where he dragged the body of Kamsa was called as Vishram Ghat. So, even today, it is said that when Krishna dragged the body of Kamsa from the wrestling arena to Yamuna's bank, because Kamsa was a huge demon, while dragging the body, it created a small canal. Just imagine the body of Kamsa. While dragging, it was creating a hole. That hole is still existing in Mathura. It has become like a canal, like a gutter now. But that hole resembles how Krishna pulled Kamsa's body from wrestling arena down to the banks of Yamuna. And Krishna came with that body and threw the body at the banks of Yamuna. And Krishna rested. Vishram. Vishram means to rest. So primarily the name Vishram Ghat in Mathura had come because of Lord Varhadev had rested there after defeating, killing Hiranyaksha and bringing Mother Earth there and resting there. But this time Krishna was now resting because Krishna had a good fight, For last 2 days he had killing and fighting so many people, and the washerman, the Rangakar, and then the Dhanur Yagya, and now Kubalyapid, Chandur, Mushtik, Shala Toshala, and finally Kamsa, and then Balram killed all the Kamsa's brother. So they had a good, tough fight. So Krishna came and rested there, and therefore again the name became again re-embedded like Vishram Ghat, where Krishna took rest. So this is how Krishna's beautiful pastimes are unfolded here, where we see that how Krishna came in this wrestling arena of Ranga Bhumi. One very amazing thing I was just thinking that Krishna came here and killed Kamsa. The purpose of Krishna's coming here was to destroy the evil, and Kamsa was the most important person in the evil camp. And just next to Rangbhumi, if you go on Mathura Parikrama, is the place where our Srila Prabhupada took sannyas. Right? So Prabhupada also took sannyas for a purpose. What was the purpose? To go around the world and preach Krishna consciousness and establish the movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as per the orders of his spiritual master. And in this way, destroy ignorance. So quite resemblance, Kamsa was killed there, ignorance was Krishna delivered and destroyed the ignorance part there. And Srila Prabhupada took sannyas there so that he could preach all over the world. So in this way, these chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam right here from the part of Krishna entering Mathura is an exciting chapter, and the excitement will continue after Krishna kills Kamsa. The excitement is now Krishna will be now in the family of Yadus as their child, and Vasudeva and Devaki will perform all the rituals and finally send them to the Gurukul of Sandipani Muni Ashram. So there are many more things to discuss. Time is now um, over. Maybe we can take 5 minutes. Some devotees requested me to speak something on book distribution marathon also, because now this is the month of marathon. A small thing. I was going through the Bhagavad Gita, and in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking about his vibhuti, hmm, that I am taste of water, I am the ability in the man, of Pandavas, I am Arjuna. So Krishna also says, Masana Marga Shirshoham. Hmm? Of all months, I am Marga Shirsh. Marga Shirsh is November, December, or December, January, either of them. So I was wondering why Krishna calls that he is Marga Shirsh. Krishna could have said Ashad also, right? Krishna could have called this is Falgun also. Of all months, I am Falgun, or Pausha, or even Ashwin. Why Krishna says of all months I am Margashirsh? So I asked one devotee in our temple, "Oh, why Krishna says of all months is Margashirsh?" Then he says, I don't know much, but we can just go through some books of the Sri Sampradaya. They may have answered, because even they also consider this Margashirsh month very important. So I happened to get some information from some devotees of ISKCON who were in Srirangam. So they mentioned this month is called in Tamil as Margai. Margashirsh is also called as Margai. It is also called as Dhanur Mas. Not this Dhanur Yagya. Dhanur also is Sagittarius. Dhanur Mas. So the Sri Acharyas mentioned that this month is a very auspicious month. In this month, the demigods are doing very auspicious activities. They say that how our day and night and the demigods day and night, they are different relativity of time. Our 6 months is their 12 hours day. Our 6 months their 12 hours night. So they analyze Ashad. In the month of July there is Deva Shayane Ekadashi, right, where the devas they go to take rest. So from July onwards they go to take rest. The next 6 months they rest. So we just calculate approximately from July to December they will rest, and from January to June they'll be awake. 12 hours of the day and 12 hours of the night. So we calculate in that direction. Now, as devotees in Krishna consciousness, we know that we have to be awake. So morning we wake up. So do we wake up after sunrise or before sunrise? Before sunrise. The last prahar of the night we wake up. Last phase of the night. And that's called a Brahma Muhurat. The last phase of the night is very auspicious. Before the sun comes up, before that part is a very auspicious time to do sadhana, bhajan. So, it is said that Margashirsh, December is the month, which is the last phase of the Ratri of the demigods. So, they get up that time and do all their sadhana, their puja. And therefore, Lord Krishna, Lord Narayan is very happy and very cheerful, very happy mood, and giving a lot of benedictions to demigods. And as a result, in a Shastra it is mentioned, therefore this month of Margashirsh is not good month for material activity. It is a good month for spiritual activity. And they say that Margashirsh is such a beautiful month, auspicious month, the demigods. Lord is in the mood of giving, data, datavya. And therefore, in this month of Margashirsh, Krishna in the mood of giving has also given Gita, Bhagavad Gita, the immortal wisdom for deliverance of the whole humanity. And this month also comes Vaikuntha Ekadashi, which is mentioned that this is a time when many South Indian temples, they have a normal door of going inside the temple, but they also have towards the east one more door called as Vaikuntha Dwar, which they keep closed always. On the Vaikuntha Ekadashi, they open the door. Anyone who goes to that door, he gets a chance to enter Vaikuntha. So Krishna has arranged this whole facility of Vaikuntha through Vaikuntha door on this Vaikuntha Ekadashi. So Krishna is in the mood of giving. So Margashirsh basically is in the mood of giving donations or giving out whatever you have received. And then I was visualizing, if you connect these dots together, we in ISKCON in the month of Margashirsh are also in the mood of giving, right? Whether we want or don't want, we are still in the mood of giving, because Srila Prabhupada has said we need to distribute books. So Margashirsh comes after Kartika. Kartik month is the mood of taking. We go a lot of vratas, we go to dham, chant more rounds, so that we progress more in bhakti. So we've taken so much in the month of Kartik. And now when we take so much, then we have to give now. So Srila Prabhupada's book distribution marathon also has a Vedic connection of how one can, in the month of December, by distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, we're actually doing a very beautiful yagya of giving out the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's books are not some just ordinary or extraordinary books. Srila Prabhupada's books are the books for the next 10,000 years for the mankind. Srila Prabhupada would say, I have not written these books. These books have been written by Krishna. He dictates and I write. And Prabhupada said, the proof is, I read my own books. Have you seen any author reading his own books? I read my own books because I have not written those books. These are books of Krishna. I have written those books, Krishna dictates those books. One reporter asked Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, after you, who is going to succeed you? Prabhupada said, I am not going to die. The reporter was surprised. Prabhupada said, because I am going to always remain in my books. So this is Srila Prabhupada. We are actually giving Srila Prabhupada to everyone. One devotee was mentioning, there are different stages of bhakti. Ado, Shraddha, Sadhu, Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, right? So when you do book distribution, the person who takes books from us, we arrange for his Ado, Shraddha and Sadhu Sangha together. He starts climbing 2 ladders there. Why? Because when he takes the books, there is some little faith. Let me try out. इतना बोल रहे ले लेते हैं. Someone is interested in book, someone is not interested. The devotees make them interested in book. Whatever way, Adho Shraddha is already, well, with the book, the Adho Shraddha has begun. And Sadhu Sangha, they are getting the Sangha of whom? The greatest Sadhu, Srila Prabhupada. One Sankirtan book distributor once was mentioning a beautiful story. This came in a long back. Vijay Prabhu had sent an email that this devotee somewhere in Europe, they had a very small center. And few brahmacharis were there, and they had so much tight schedule in services that did not have chance to go for book distribution. So one night, particular night, this brahmachari was sleeping near Prabhupada's altar. In the night, 12 o'clock, midnight, someone woke him up, midnight. So he woke up, he saw Srila Prabhupada was waking up. He saw the altar was empty. Prabhupada had climbed down from the altar and waking up. Said, Hari bol, get up. Yes, Prabhupada. He offered obeisance to Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada told him, I am feeling bored in this temple. I want to preach. Take me out. So he said, yes, Prabhupada, tomorrow morning we will go. Said, no, I want to go now at this time. Prabhupada, midnight. Yes, you go ahead. I'll follow you. So reluctantly, this devotee started walking out. Prabhupada was walking behind him. He came to the main gate. And Prabhupada, there is no one on the streets. It's midnight. Prabhupada said, let's wait. Someone will come. And they were waiting for some time. Then Prabhupada saw on the parallel street, one man was walking. Prabhupada said, go, catch him and bring him here. Prabhupada, what should I tell him? Go and tell him your spiritual master wants to preach to him. She goes running and catches that person. He said, come. Where? He's also afraid, midnight, no one is there. This fellow is catching him, and come. So where you want me to come? He said, my spiritual master wants to preach to you. He's more afraid now. Literally drags him, comes to the main gate of the temple center. And then he finds Prabhupada is not there. And he aghast, my God, I bought this man. Prabhupada, where are you? And then he hears Prabhupada's beautiful voice. He looks around. So there's a chair there. On that chair, there are a few books of Prabhupada. From that book, the voice comes out. Prabhupada said, I am here. Give me to him. Give these books to him. Let him go home. I will preach him in his house. So this man picks up the book and gives it to the man. The dream breaks. This was all a dream. This devotee got this dream, contemplating whole day that he is not distributing Prabhupada books, he should distribute. What a dream. And his realization, yes, I don't know whether it's reality, but definitely the lesson is very strong. When we go out and distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, we are giving Srila Prabhupada to them. Who is the best preacher in ISKCON? Srila Prabhupada. Right? And the Prabhupada said, what your 2 minutes of preaching will do? Give him a book, he'll get benefited. And then we can find that whole ISKCON has been progressing here because the The foundation is book distribution. Like Bhima Prabhu always mentions, you guys are preaching so much all over Maharashtra now, like Maharashtra preaching is booming like everywhere. I was just watching the number of centers all over India. The maximum centers are in Maharashtra. Preaching center, exchange center, outpost. They're growing like, wild. And Bhima Prabhu was mentioning all this is happening because during the 70s and 80s, all devotees would take this Sankirtan bus and just went and flooded the whole Maharashtra with books. And now all those books are now fructifying in form of centers, exchange centers, preaching centers, temples, so many devotees. So we can see that how what Srila Prabhupada has given us is not something which was very long back, which is past. Even now also it is very relevant. And Srila Prabhupada books are even today very much needed in the society. Many devotees ask us, Prabhuji, we are distributing Bhagavad Gita for so many years. Will Bhagavad Gita ever go now? People already have Bhagavad Gita. But we know that every year we distribute Bhagavad Gitas and Bhagavad Gitas are distributed. It is not like Bhagavad Gita remains in the godown and the person in the godown scratching his head what to do with the Gita. So much Gita is lying here. No. Last year, in the whole world, 28 lakhs of Maha big books were distributed just in 1 month of December. Of which 22 lakh were distributed in India. And this year the target is 30 lakh and 25 lakh is for India. So where these books are going? They are going because even today the market is there. There are people waiting there for books. So this is such a beautiful opportunity for us to take part in book distribution marathon and please Srila Prabhupada, because by pleasing him, then we stand some chance in Krishna consciousness and perfect our life. So we'll end here. Thank you for your patient listening. Any questions, comments, any corrections are open now. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes.
हरे कृष्ण। आपने हकीकत में सुनाया है कि महाराष्ट्र में जो बुक सीलिंग हुआ है वो सही है, क्योंकि देखिए आज जो लोग प्रीचिंग कर रहे हैं वो जो बी बोया हुआ है वो 82, 83, 80 में, 79 में जो लोकनाथ स्वामी, भीमा प्रभु, बहुत सारे भक्त यहाँ पर थे। और हमारे पास गुजरात में 7 गाड़ी थी उस समय, और हमारे पास मिस्टर नाथ जी, जो श्रीनाथ जी हमारे नाथ जी हैं, उन्होंने 3 बसेस दी थी और 3 बसेस भर के हम लोग जाते थे। बाद में 2 बसेस दिए, मिनी बस, अच्छा 5 बसेस भर के उनका और हमारा कंपटीशन ज़्यादा था। तो ये जो किताबें हैं, आपको यकीन होगा कि हम लोग नासिक जाते थे तो एक किताब नहीं सेलिंग करते थे, 12 किताब एक बुक में, एक बंडल में 12 किताब होते थे। तो 12 किताब कितने रुपए की है? 12 रुपए की थी, 12 रुपए की किताब। तो 12 किताब एक साथ देते थे। इसलिए आज सारे घर घर में, महाराष्ट्र में और भी देशों में, जैसे कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी तक, ये हनुमान प्रभु जी यहाँ पर बैठे हैं, मेरे इंचार्ज, मेरे मस्त मेरे जन्मदाता है, क्योंकि इनके अंडर में भक्त बना। तो हमने देखा है कितना बड़ा प्रचार था। तो ये जो प्रचार का बीज जो महाराष्ट्र में बोया हुआ है, ये सिर्फ राधा रासबिहारी मंदिर ने बोया हुआ है। बस राधा रासबिहारी मंदिर ने, ऐसा तभी कोई नहीं था, कुछ भी नहीं था यहाँ पर, सिर्फ यहाँ के भक्त थे जो गीता बांटते थे। और इतनी गीता बांटी। मुझे याद है एक बार हम लोग नासिक में, यहाँ पर क्या होते थे, सुबह के समय 3:30 बजे उठकर हम लोग मंगा आरती के बाद तुरंत हम बुक गोदाम में जाते थे। उस समय मालूम पड़ता था गीता सारी चोरी करके ले गया। नर्मदा महाराज हमारे थे, वो हमारे साथ में सन्यासी थे, लिंग कॉम्पिटिशन करते थे। तो देवकीनंदन प्रभु हम लोग सब सारी गीता चोरी करके ले, तो हम लोग रात को ही उठ के पूरी गीता अपने गाड़ी में लोड करके रखते थे। तो एक बार हम लोग ने, मुरारी बड़ा चालाक हमारा है, कृष्ण मुरारी, तो हम लोगों ने गीता को दिया और लोडिंग कर दिया और हम लोग चले गए किधर, नासिक में, जहाँ पर नोट छपती है। नासिक में फैक्ट्री है नोट, जहाँ नोट छपती है, आज भी है, हाईवे पे है। और हम लोग गाड़ी खड़ी कर दिया। आप यकीन नहीं करोगे, 4 घंटे के अंदर पूरा गाड़ी खाली कर दिया था हम लोगों ने। कम से कम 4,500-5,000 किताब थे हमारे पास, सारी की सारी बेचे और पैसा 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 सिर्फ पेपर में फेंक दिया था। फिर हम वहाँ से निकल के यवला बोल के गांव है, वहाँ पर आए, गाड़ी नदी किनारे परवारा नदी है, वहाँ पर गाड़ी खड़ी कर दिया और पेपर में से सारा नोट निकाल निकाल के गिना और शाम को हम मुंबई आ गए। बीमा बोला अरे कल तुम गए, आज कैसे वापस आ गए, क्या किया तुमने किताब? हमने कहा हम सेलिंग कर दिया, ये पैसा है। तो बीमा बड़ा खुश हो गया और गिरिराज स्वामी को बताया ये जो ग्रुप है इन्होंने बहुत गीता सेलिंग किया। तो महाराज बड़े ही संतुष्ट हो गए और बहुत संतुष्ट, बोले तो बहुत ही संतुष्ट हो गए। इसी प्रकार तो ये जो प्रभु जी ने कहा कि जो बीज जो बोया हुआ है ये सिर्फ आदास बिहारी के मंदिर ने बोया हुआ है और सारे संसार में गीता का प्रचार हुआ है। खास तौर पे इंडिया में भी हम लोग, ऐसे कोई देश नहीं है कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी तक ऐसा कोई गांव नहीं जहाँ पर हम लोग नहीं गए होंगे। हमारे पास जो बस दी थी भक्तिपाद, जो बस थी उनका नाम भक्तिपाद था और साथ साथ में जगन्नाथ बलदेव उसके पीछे बैठे थे और हम सभी लोग उससे जाते थे प्रचार में। तो उन दिन प्रचारों का तो बहुत ही ग्रेट है ये महाराष्ट्र। और ये महाराष्ट्र का जो आज हम गोपीनाथ मंदिर वाले या अन्य लोग जो प्रचार करते हैं, हर घर में गीता जो पढ़ी है उसी उन दिनों गीता है, उस गीता के चलते प्रचार हो रहा है। हरे कृष्ण, धन्यवाद।
हरे कृष्ण, हरे कृष्णा। महाराज आपको कुछ पता बोलना है? हरे कृष्णा, थैंक यू, धन्यवाद। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन मैराथन की जय।